Good afternoon. My name is Turner. I'm the training manager of Taylor's International Hotel. Now, I've been in this industry for approximately 10 years, so I'm not very experienced, but I do know similar problem solving skills. Now, thank you so much for being here, first of all, Ms. Sumita. Thank you for being here. Okay, now, shall we address the problem? Now, the reason why I collected all of you here today is so that we can appropriate the training because based on survey we actually have a very bad review that our hotel operators have poor telephone etiquette. It's not very bad, but then again we are a 5 star, we're trying to improve it. And it's also not because of the survey, it's actually based on my observation and also of the higher management. We feel like it's not bad, but we definitely have room to improve. So then again, I collected all of you today. It's so that we can practice about it. So the topic of today we're going to do is telephone etiquette. Okay? Now we're going to start with the do's and later on we're going to move to the don'ts. Now, I just would appreciate if all of you listen closely for what I have to say for the rest of the day. If you guys are tired, you guys can have a simple break for 5 minutes once I'm done with the do's, okay? Now, just make yourself comfortable, and I'm going to speak at a very appropriate timing so that you guys could listen properly, alright? Now, once we're done with all of the do's and the don'ts, I just want some of the feedback from some of you. Okay, now I'm just going to simply demonstrate the do's. And first of all, before we hit there, I'm going to explain why it's so important to have good telephone etiquette. Okay, now first of all, as I said earlier, we're a 5 star resort or a hotel. Then again, guests who comes here, they pay a higher fees to stay in a hotel because it's a 5 star and they're paying to get spoiled. And of course, for the money they pay, they just want the money worth back, right? I'm sure you guys understand my point of view, and it's very important, okay, to show that we care for our guests. That's why we're striving better and we're doing better, okay? Besides that, it's not just only we're a 5 stars resort. If we were put ourselves in the shoes of our guest, of course we would like to be talked properly, speak to nicely and professionally, right? Okay, now without further ado, let's move on to the do's. Alright? Now as you can see today, I'm not speaking very fast. I'm speaking nicely, clearly at a moderate speed. Now, make sure when you speak on the phone, you make sure your words are clear when you speak to the caller. It doesn't matter if it's a kid, it doesn't matter if it's an adult. We do it properly because then again, the guest is number one in this service industry, and we wouldn't get paid if we don't have any guests. Now, it makes sense. Then again, we just want to do our best. Pronounce your word properly. Enunciate your words while smiling. This is very important. We just want to look as genuine as we can to the guests without making them feel uncomfortable or making them feel like we just forced to do the job. We want to show that we actually care about the guests and we want to do our best. Alright? Second of all, when we greet the guest on the phone, we have to greet the guest appropriately. When you answer the phone, then again, different resorts or different hotels have different policy. Now, in Taylor's International, you greet the guests first according to the time of the day, whether it's the morning, whether it's in the afternoon, or whether it's in the evening. Okay, this is very important. Then again, it's just very professional and very formal, and I believe it's very important. All right. Then again, when you greet the guests according to the time of day, without having to make yourself look like an idiot, make sure you know what you're gonna say, whether it's morning, whether it's afternoon. Because sometimes maybe you've been there on the phone or it's been your job for too long, you may forget about the time of the day. For example, it's in the morning, and you've worked up till 12 before your lunch break, and then you answer a call at 12:10 and you said good morning. That is still excusable because it's only been 12:10, but if it's 1 o'clock, just make sure you greet the time of the day appropriately, okay? Now, once after you've answered a call, definitely if you receive a call, it's of course they need something, or they need our help, or they just need to know something, any information. That's why they give us a call, right? And ask the guest appropriately, how can you help them? All right? You have to be as genuine as you can, because in the service industry, we have to be really genuine because we care for the guests. I know I've emphasized on this many times today, but I cannot stretch how important it is, all right? Okay, now when you ask the guest how can you help, you have to listen properly to every inch of the words they say, because everything are information when they let us know. These are very, very, very crucial, as we wouldn't want the guest to repeat twice. Maybe twice is fine, especially if we have any like culture differences, like they speak English in a different accent, or maybe the English is not so good. So we would understand. We would be very apologetic to ask, could you please repeat? I'm very sorry. But we wouldn't want the guest to repeat 3 times. So when you're doing a job, make sure you're following all the words that you're listening to appropriately. Not only that, you have to listen very closely. The key aspect. Sometimes they ask information about what to do for the day, or sometimes they even ask information if they want to be connected to different department, and it will be not nice if you do connect them to the wrong department. All right? Now, listen to the guest request properly. Make sure when you answer them, you know what room you're talking about. For example, if they were to talk if they were to ask you about a request, about they want to book a dinner, for example, if a man is surprising his wife on an anniversary, now he's planning a special beach dinner, you wouldn't want to call back to the lady knowing that the husband is trying to surprise her. Now, this is very important as we want to keep the happiness of all of our guests, and it's our number one priority. All right? Now, moving on, if there are, for instance, things that you may need to get back to the guests, right? You wouldn't want them to listen to the background noise as you speak to a manager or another colleague. So the most appropriate thing to do is place the caller on hold. But before you do that, please ask for the permission or just let the guest prior to know that you are going to leave him on the hold just for a minute before asking his questions properly. All right. Once you've said, sorry, excuse me. Once you've said that yes, it's possible to keep him on hold, make sure you do it as soon as you can and solve the problems as soon as you can, address the answers as soon as you can, and not only that, once you've connected back from the hold, greet the guest with thank you very much for holding. It's a way of appreciating the guest for holding on the phone for a while. I mean, it may not seem much, but it's very important. Okay? Now, moving on to the don'ts. Now, this is the part where through the survey, it's actually given very bad reviews. Okay? So, don'ts. Okay? I know some of you may not be so confident in English, but then again, you have to try because you cannot speak too softly. The guests wouldn't get to hear because maybe you've been shy or you're not very confident, but then again you have to be bold, you have to be strong. So just do your best and try to speak slowly but not too slow, and you have to speak not too loud as well, just in the right amount. That would help. All right, now speaking softly will make it challenging for the caller to understand what you've been trying to say, and it will just make the chemistry not very good between you and the guest, and it will be very unappealing. It'll make us look like we're very clumsy, unprofessional, unready for the challenges. Okay, moving on next. don't leave the collar on hold for too long. I've already stretched about this from above, but I just have to do it again because it's very important. Now, if you hold the gas for too long, it will make the gas tired. 2 minutes is fine. It's actually, in fact, very long for high class property. So, what you can do in terms of not leaving the collar for too long, you can try maybe saying, sorry, sir, maybe is it better if I could call back to you in 5 minutes so I won't keep you that long on the hold? I think this is very appropriate. It would be the right thing to do. As you know, it could just get a little bit challenging if you put yourself in the shoes of the guest. It would just not be very nice. All right? Now, then again, we are Malaysians. There are slangs that I would say, for examples, lah, meh, ooh, for example, the sentence like, you can go to the front office lah. I mean, then again, it's fine, we are Malaysians, but because then again, we're in the service industry, we are in a five-star property. It would just be appropriate if you could just stop it, just put it on hold, and maybe you can be comfortable with your friends, but then we're speaking to the guests. It's very important. As you know, we are prioritizing the guests at number one. As we speak with Malaysians, maybe they understand, but if we were to speak with foreigners, like maybe some of the Italians or some of the British, they wouldn't really understand. And in fact, it may cause some misunderstanding because similar words could sound alike. All right, just try not to use the slang words and use appropriate terms like just a moment or hold on a second. Now, then again, hold on a second is not very appropriate. Then again, the words you would want to use is just a moment or could you please hold for a while. Now, these are the words that you will really need to use. Okay, last but not least, please don't answer the phone so casually. Now, many people may think this is fine as we wouldn't want to make the guest uncomfortable. But then again, you are speaking to a stranger for the first time. They would want to feel the respect they deserve. So please answer the phone casually. This is very important and just don't do it. Speak as you would to all of the guests, treat them equal because remember, the guests are number one. Now, I would like to thank you for coming to my training class about the telephone etiquette. Thank you so much for your attention, and I really wish it would benefit you in the near future dealing with guests or dealing with customers, or even speaking with higher authorities like your manager. They would really appreciate if we speak appropriately, as some of the in I wouldn't say instructions, but some of the etiquette that I've already given. Thank you so much for your time. And once again, I'm Turner Fu of the batch 15, group number 7, progression student. Now, sorry, Miss Sumita, I've already tried this doing in the classroom. It's just not so good. The sound system isn't very appropriate. That's why I chose to do it at home in a quiet room where I can speak properly without any background noises. Thank you so much, Miss Sumita.